Election season is here, and we Texans have some really important decisions to make. That's where the Houston Chronicle Editorial Board comes in. Each election season, we interview dozens of candidates. We sit down with them, we ask them hard questions, we try to get them in the same room as their opponents, which they don't always agree with. We want to understand their leadership qualities, their positions on the issues, their fitness for the district that they're running for, and most importantly, can they get things done?
Why should readers pay attention to what the editorial board thinks? Why should the editorial board even tell people who to vote for? We're not omniscient. We go through the steps that many people don't have the time to do. We look at their statements, and their websites, and their tweets. We do background checks. We think about what the position is that they're running for and whether they even understand the role.
We want to be responsive to what is a voter concern, and we want to cover that. But at the same time, that's been driven in part by the candidate's own media kind of pandering to some degree. The endorsement process is difficult and grueling, but it's also this incredibly unique opportunity that we get to question people one-on-one. It's something that no single voter really gets the chance to do, but as a board, we get to do that.
So for the lower profile races, we really want to make sure that we get those right. So there was one race with a district court judge in the primary where he had a very controversial bond decision that led to a police officer being killed in the line of duty. And he was very reflective about his mistake in that bond decision of lowering this person's bond and allowing them to walk free. And we had to weigh that regret with the kind of gravity of the crime. And ultimately we decided not to endorse this judge for re-election, mostly because of that decision.
Something the board takes seriously is that sometimes we need to endorse a candidate that we don't necessarily agree with. We're looking at a district's politics. We're looking at a candidate's viability. How much have they fundraised? Do they really have a chance of winning? What sorts of experience is a first-time candidate bringing when they're running? This is also true at the statewide level. For example, in 2018, the board endorsed Governor Abbott for re-election. For one thing, the board felt that the Democrat wasn't particularly viable, and also that then Governor Abbott was governing in line with many Texans' values. But as we look at this term in office, what we see is a lack of action on gun control. What we see is the way that he led or didn't lead during the winter storm, and just the way that he's contributing to the political polarization that we have in the state.
It's a huge task, but the reason that we do it is because if a voter has to vote on this, then we should hold ourselves responsible as well to doing the homework and evaluating these candidates on behalf of the voter. That's what we're here for. Not every board does that. Some boards just focus on higher profile races, but it's really the ones that are way down the ticket that voters aren't as informed about.
The editorial board is different from the newsroom. It's completely separate. Some people ask, why is a newspaper in the year 2022 still endorsing candidates when you're supposed to be fair and objective? Well, my answer is, newspapers don't endorse candidates. Editorial boards do. So the reporters who are out writing the news stories don't have anything to do with this process.
As the editor in charge of the letters to the editor, I read hundreds of submissions a week, and I always notice as we near election season, we get more and more letters from readers who are wondering, when are the endorsements coming out? I need your help to decide for these races. So it's not just us deciding that we need to have these endorsements. There's a real hunger there from our readers.
The important thing that Texans sometimes forget is you still cannot take your cell phone into the voting booth. What can you still bring? A newspaper or a printout of our recommendation. we provide a full list of our recommendations in PDF form, so you can conveniently print it out. If you want to read the in-depth recommendations, they're all available online. And if you want a summary of recommendations, we've got that too.